Well, President Joe Biden is talking tough on Iran, but nobody seems to be listening. Iran-backed proxies have now launched 64 attacks, that's a new number, on American bases and troops in the Middle East, with Pentagon officials now telling the Washington Post that Biden's threats of deterrence clearly are not working. Joining us now to talk about all this and more is Tennessee Senator Bill Hagerty. He's a member of the Foreign Relations Committee and former Trump ambassador to Japan. Senator, great to see you. Thank you so much for being here. 64
Likewise,
Iranian attacks. It's hard to argue with these Pentagon officials. We should say they're speaking off the record, but they are speaking to the Washington Post. Hard to argue with them that these sort of pinprick responses by the Biden administration aren't working.
Well, it's clear that they're not working. We've had 4 military responses here, but if you think about the power we have in the region, we've got 2 aircraft carrier strike groups right there in the Eastern Mediterranean. Our military deterrence capability is strong. The problem is that our diplomatic messages are completely undercutting it. We're appeasing Iran. Just last week, the Biden administration released another $10 billion to Iran. They're the greatest state sponsor of terror. You think about it, when they came into office, the Biden administration removed the Houthis from the foreign terrorist organization list. The Houthis turned right around and attacked Saudi Arabia. Now they're launching missiles from Yemen into Israel. You think about it, they just took over a Japanese ship in the Red Sea. They have 25 of the Japanese sailors as hostages.
They call it, by the way, they called it, they mislabeled that ship as they say all ships belonging to the Israeli enemy. In fact, it's a Bahamas flag ship. It has a Japanese owner, as you just suggested. None of the crew members were Israeli. They're from the Philippines, Bulgaria, Romania, Ukraine, and Mexico. So these essentially are rogue pirates now under Iranian control. They could take over any ship they want unless we respond.
Yeah, absolutely. But instead, the Biden administration takes them off the terrorist watch list. We'd put them right back on. And Dave, we've got to start snapping back and enforcing every sanction that we have in place. The primary sanctions, the secondary sanctions on Iran. We've got to cut off the flow of funds to these sponsors of terror rather than emboldening them by sending more money to them.
Right. And again, it's not a matter when we say hit Iran, it's not necessarily hit them with troops. It's not like sending forces of Marines over to Iran. Because the Trump administration proved that if you cut off their source of income, if you just deal with these sanctions and implement the sanctions that people in Congress have voted for, that is enough to stop them not only from funding Hamas and Hezbollah, from doing all these other things like hitting our bases in the Middle East.
That's absolutely the case. If you look at the tributaries of terror, that's Hamas, Hezbollah that you just mentioned, the Houthis, the rogue strikes that they're putting onto our bases with their own backed terrorists, those are the tributaries of terror. You've got to shut off the river. And the river is Iran. They're the ones that are flowing the funds, the technology, and the know-how to all of these terrorist proxies that they sponsor. We should hold them accountable for that. And again, the sanctions are available to us. We should snap them right back into place. I worked hard to put those sanctions in place back when I was ambassador to Japan. I got the Japanese to stop buying Iranian crude oil. We need to go back and do that around the world.
So why aren't we, Senator?
It goes back to the Biden administration's desperate policy of appeasement. The first thing they tried to do when they came into office is appease Iran and get back into the treacherous JCPOA, the so-called Iran deal, that literally just put Iran on the track for a nuclear program. It released pallets of cash. You'll remember that. Jack Lew, now going to be our ambassador to Israel, what an insult to Israel, was the one that released that cash when he was Treasury Secretary. Yeah. So we had to squeeze that we had to squeeze the river down. We brought it down to a trickle. We had Iran's funds down below $8 billion by 2020. Now we've had more than $100 billion flow back to them under Joe Biden. That is what's funding all of this.
Yeah, we also hit Soleimani, which shook them up in Tehran as well. But there's another issue we have to talk about. That's whether, when we look at Rob Malley, this guy who was working for the state, he was our U.S. envoy to Iran. He's been suspended because of suspicions that he misused intel. Lord knows whether he shared that intel. By the way, this guy, as he was being brought up, he had a pretty left-wing father who was friends with Yasser Arafat. He became the unofficial stepson of Yasser Arafat, we are told. So the guy is close to the wrong kind of people in the Middle East. And there are questions about whether his fondness for Iran has affected our policy. And the fact that he's been suspended, and as they look into whether he did something illegal, there are other people that he has brought in who are still working for the United States government and affecting our policy.
Yes, the chief of staff for the special assistant for the assistant for special operations at the Pentagon. His chief of staff is one of the members of the Iranian Experts Initiative.
Arian, I think her name is Arian Tabatabai. Go ahead.
Yes, it's shocking that she would still have a security clearance. They found emails showing her correspondence back and forth with the Iranian Foreign Ministry. I mean, this stinks to high heavens. And Rob Malley's under investigation right now. This whole thing needs to be brought into the open. The State Department needs to make clear to all of us that they've followed every aspect of the rules as they've dealt with this. They kept a lot of this under wraps and undercover. They didn't tell us for months that Rob Malley had been suspended, that he'd lost his security clearances, and in fact, he was allowed to continue to operate without his security clearances in the role of special envoy. This has been a huge, huge error by the State Department, and I'm very, very concerned about where it may leave our national security interests.
Senator, I want to switch to a domestic issue, and you have a background in investment. You work for BCG and other companies of note that were involved in decisions being made in Silicon Valley. We just saw a change at OpenAI. On Friday, they fired this guy, Sam Altman, was one of the co-founders. And today it was announced that Microsoft has hired the guy as head of their AI program, which may be great news for Microsoft, not so good for OpenAI. I think they're going to rue the day when they fired the guy.
Microsoft's share price reacted. Yeah.
It was up 2%, Microsoft. So what do you think of all this and the overall concern that a lot of people in Congress have about AI, and it does have dangers. Even Elon Musk is talking about those dangers. But, if we don't do it, if we don't get on the game, we know that the Chinese are already there, and they're already going to proceed ahead as fast as they possibly can, right?
That's exactly right. That's why I think Xi Jinping came to San Francisco for the APEC conference, wanting to negotiate with Joe Biden to slow down our progress in AI, to slow down our deployment of AI in military applications. Do you think that Xi Jinping is going to keep his side of any agreement like that? Ask the Brits how it worked with Hong Kong. I think we need to be deeply concerned, and we need to be pressing every advantage we can possibly muster right now to make certain that the United States maintains its competitive advantage in artificial intelligence.
You think Microsoft made a good bet hiring this guy?
Well, the market seems to agree that that's a good bet.
It certainly does. Bill Hagerty, yes. Senator, thank you very much.